Going on to your own farming enterprise, as a business at the Rural Planning Co, we've put together a number of applications for rural workers' dwellings, also known as agricultural workers' dwellings, and that's something that you have been successful with on your own farm. If you could give one piece of advice to somebody considering this type of application, what would it be?
Gosh, that's a good question. It sounds contrived to say, but I think this is probably the piece of advice, is get good professional advice early, because I see quite a lot of cases where they have gone to somebody like an architect, which isn't a strategy planner, or I'm not saying anything wrong with architects, of course there's a very distinct role for an architect, but not taking a bare piece of land and creating a farmyard out of it. Or perhaps maybe they've taken advice directly from the council and given them some of the information, and now the council know that information. Whereas of course with something like this, you have to follow quite a formulaic path to get to where you want to go. And if you're talking to the right person, whether that's us or somebody like us, you know, a rural planner that has done that countless times, we've trodden that path and we know which route to take and what order to do things in. So I would say get some of that early strategic advice right from the start, because otherwise you could kind of scupper the whole project before you've even got going. And the second thing would be to just, it takes time, it takes years, you know, it's taken us 7 years to get from building one shed to building our house, you know, everything takes a lot longer than you think.
And in hindsight, would you have done anything differently at Cobbler's Farm?
Would we have done anything differently? We put the first lot of sheds in the wrong place because we didn't give it enough thought, and then we had to go back in and change the planning again. No, I think probably I feel reasonably content with how we went about it. There's a couple of small things. For example, when you're doing a temporary workers dwelling application, the standard time is you normally apply for 3 years, whereas of course when you come to do your permanent workers dwelling application, you need to be able to show 3 years of accounts, and it's highly unlikely that your 3 years temporary commenced at the end of the financial year, so you've got this perfect 3 years of accounts. So more often than not, you're having to think about the permanent at 3.5 years, and of course your temporary has run out by then. So actually just a few little things that, again, from experience we know, I would now be applying for 4 years temporary, or you know, making sure that if there's accounts that they are going back into the previous year. There's just a few like little tweaks like that really, which on a practical level I would advise somebody else to do slightly differently.
Yeah.